Imagine a family of four living in a small suburban town. Both parents work full-time jobs, but they still struggle to make ends meet. Despite their hard work, they find it harder every year to pay for their home, healthcare, and their kids' education. This family is part of the middle class, a group that used to be the backbone of our society. In recent years, many middle-class families have felt a financial squeeze like never before. The costs of everyday living keep going up, but wages have not kept pace. This has led to a growing number of people who feel like they are working harder but getting nowhere. This video will explore why the middle class is getting crushed financially. We will look at stagnant wages, rising costs of living, and other key factors that are putting pressure on middle-class families. Number 1. The disappearing middle class. The middle class is a group of people who earn enough to live comfortably, but not enough to be rich. They are important because they help the economy grow by spending money on goods and services. In the past, the middle class in countries like the United States was strong and growing. People could get good jobs, buy homes, and save for the future. However, things have changed in recent years. The middle class is shrinking. This means fewer people are able to live comfortably. Instead, more people are either struggling to get by or becoming very wealthy, with not many in between. One reason for this is that wages for middle-class jobs have not grown much, even though the cost of living has gone up a lot. Things like housing, healthcare, and education have become much more expensive. This makes it hard for middle-class families to keep up. The gap between the rich and the poor is also growing. Rich people are getting richer, while many middle-class families are finding it harder to stay afloat. This trend is worrying because a strong middle class is crucial for a healthy and stable society. Number 2. Stagnant wages. One of the main reasons the middle class is struggling is stagnant wages. Stagnant wages mean that people's pay is not increasing much over time, even though the prices of things they need keep going up. This makes it hard for families to cover their basic expenses and save for the future. Over the past few decades, wages for many middle-class jobs have barely increased. For example, if someone was earning $50,000 a year 20 years ago, they might be earning only slightly more today, even though the cost of living has risen significantly. This is a big problem because things like rent, groceries, and utilities have all become more expensive. Inflation is one reason for this. Inflation means that the prices of goods and services go up over time. However, if wages do not keep up with inflation, people's purchasing power decreases. This means that even though they earn the same amount of money, they can buy less with it. This stagnation in wages makes it difficult for middle-class families to save for emergencies, buy homes, or pay for their children's education. As a result, many feel stuck, unable to improve their financial situation. Number 3. Rising costs of living. The cost of essential items like housing, healthcare, education, and childcare has gone up significantly, making it harder for families to make ends meet. First, let's talk about housing. The price of buying a home has skyrocketed in many areas. Rent has also increased dramatically. For example, a family that used to pay $1,000 a month for rent might now be paying $1,500 or more. This huge increase takes a big chunk out of their monthly budget, leaving less money for other expenses. Education costs have also risen sharply. College tuition has become very expensive, leading many families to take on large amounts of student loan debt. Parents who want to send their children to good schools or pay for extracurricular activities find it increasingly difficult to afford these opportunities. Childcare is another significant expense for middle-class families. Daycare and after-school programs are essential for working parents, but the costs can be overwhelming. Some families spend as much on childcare as they do on rent or a mortgage. These rising costs make it hard for middle-class families to save money, invest in their future, or enjoy a comfortable lifestyle. The financial squeeze leaves them feeling stressed and uncertain about their financial stability. Number 4. Housing crisis. The housing crisis is a major issue for the middle class. Housing prices have gone up so much that many families find it hard to buy a home. Even renting has become very expensive, making it tough for people to find affordable places to live. In many cities, the cost of buying a home has skyrocketed. For example, in some areas, the price of a typical home has doubled in the past 10 years. This means that families who could have bought a home a decade ago now find it impossible to do so. They need larger down payments and higher incomes to qualify for mortgages. Renting is not much easier. Rent prices have increased significantly, especially in big cities. Many middle-class families spend a large part of their income on rent, leaving them with less money for other essentials. Some families have to move to less desirable areas just to find affordable housing. This housing crisis makes it difficult for middle-class families to build wealth through homeownership. It also forces many to live in less stable and more stressful situations. The dream of owning a home is becoming harder and harder to achieve for many middle-class families. Number 5. Student loan debt. Student loan debt is another big problem for the middle class. The cost of college has gone up a lot over the past few decades, forcing many students and their families to take out large loans to pay for their education. These loans can take years, even decades, to pay off, putting a huge financial burden on graduates. For example, a student who graduates with a degree might owe $30,000 or more in student loans. Each month, they have to make payments on these loans, which can be several $100s. This makes it hard for them to save money, buy a house, or even start a family. Many middle-class families feel this burden. Parents who want their children to get a good education often have to co-sign loans or take out loans themselves. This adds to their financial stress, especially if they are already dealing with high costs of living. This heavy debt load can affect many parts of life. It can delay important milestones like buying a home or having children. For middle-class families, student loan debt is a major obstacle to financial stability and achieving the American dream. Number 6. Healthcare expenses. Healthcare expenses are a big problem for middle-class families. The cost of medical care, insurance, and prescription drugs has gone up a lot in recent years. Even families with health insurance often face high out-of-pocket costs, making it hard to afford the care they need. Medical bills can be very expensive. A simple visit to the doctor or a trip to the emergency room can cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars. If someone in the family gets seriously ill or needs surgery, the costs can be overwhelming. Health insurance is supposed to help, but premiums and deductibles have also increased. Many middle-class families pay a lot each month for insurance, and they still have to pay a large portion of their medical bills out of pocket. This adds to their financial stress. Rising healthcare expenses make it difficult for middle-class families to save money and plan for the future. They often have to choose between paying for medical care and other essential expenses, which puts a huge strain on their finances and overall well-being. Number 7. Job market changes. The job market has changed a lot in recent years, affecting the middle class. Many traditional middle-class jobs in manufacturing have disappeared. These jobs have been replaced by service industry jobs, which often pay less and offer fewer benefits. Additionally, the rise of the gig economy means more people are working freelance or part-time jobs. These jobs often don't provide job security, health insurance, or retirement benefits, making it harder for workers to plan for the future. For example, instead of having a stable job at a factory, many people now work as drivers for ride-sharing companies or take on short-term contracts. These jobs can be unpredictable, and the pay is usually lower. These changes in the job market make it hard for middle-class families to achieve financial stability. Without stable, well-paying jobs, they struggle to cover their expenses and save for the future. Number 8. Government policies and taxation. Government policies and taxation also impact the middle class. Over the years, tax policies have often favored the wealthy and large corporations, giving them significant tax breaks. Meanwhile, middle-class families have not seen the same benefits and often pay a higher percentage of their income in taxes. For example, tax cuts for the rich and big companies can lead to less government revenue. This often results in cuts to public services and programs that many middle-class families rely on, such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Additionally, policies like low minimum wages and weakened labor protections hurt middle-class workers. These policies make it harder for them to earn a fair wage and secure good benefits. A strong middle class is important for a healthy society. When the middle class does well, the whole country benefits. It's time to focus on solutions that help middle-class families achieve financial stability and a better future. By addressing these issues, we can ensure that everyone has a fair chance to succeed. Now, if you want to learn how to achieve financial success, then watch this video next. And if you made it to this point of the video, please like and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.